All right, welcome again to today's design review. My name is Ekade Adetunji. I am the founder of Ceasar Graphics and Ceasar Graphics Academy. All right, I have designs I received from the creatives members. But before I get to the critiquing of the design, I need to quickly share this with you that type is like the voice that we use to communicate to our viewers. All right. I know the side of using illustration is part of it, but what speak the language, what explain our goal, what talk to the people is the use of type. All right. Most time when we do design, we use elements that don't move. What they do is whenever we place them on our design project, they just remain there. All right. So we use type to talk to people. We use type to explain the message behind the project we're working on. So whenever you're using type on your design project and you want people to quickly get the message fast, it's always good for you not to hide the type. All right. There are different ways that we creatives always make the mistake of hiding type in our design project. One of it is playing with smart scale. Then the other one is the colors that are not okay when we place them on our background. And whenever we use type and the type is difficult to see or difficult for our readers to read what we put on our design project, it's not different from when somebody is talking to you and the person is doing like this. All right. So whenever you're using type, put yourself in the shoe of your viewers or your readers. Do something that you know will be easier for them to see so they can take their time to read every other information on the design project. So I'm going to go straight to the critiquing of the design now, and I'm going to be sharing what make the design successful and what is not working on the design that I received. So this is the first design that I'm going to be critiquing today, and I'm going to share what I think is working here and what is not working on this project. All right. Now, like I said in the beginning of this review, I said type is what we use to talk to our viewers in our graphic design. And when we don't use it the right way, it's always difficult for our readers to understand the message we're trying to pass to them. Now, the use of illustration is beautiful. I'm talking of use of characters and all those things. Yeah. But if we don't use type to tell them the message, if we don't use type to explain what we're trying to say, it will be difficult for them to get the message. So anytime you're using type or you are trying to create a title for your project, all right, avoid hiding the type. I'm talking of your title here now. I mentioned that there are different ways we always hide type in our design projects by mistake. One of it is the scale and then also the use of color. So I'm saying this here now because of the color used on this title here that says campus. The information here is talking about is welcoming students back to school. All right. And I like the type of type used here because, most time types like these are good for teenagers. All right. And, like what I always say to you guys, that graphic design is more like a language. All right. Whenever you're working on design projects, you need to understand the age group of the people you are trying to target. So the type of type you use is part of how you can direct the message to them. And that's why I said I like the fonts that this designer uses here. But the problem I have with this is the use of the color that the designer used on this project. So if I'm asked to work on this and I want to use the same color, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the value higher than what we have now. So if I hit Control L now to activate levels, or let's just use this adjustment level here, and I move this up like that, you see we're beginning to see the title clearly. Let's see if we move from here to here. Okay, that's not good. This is okay. Yeah, I believe this way is still better than this because we need to let people know why we have these people here. Okay, that's one. Then number two is you see this text to use here. I'm not really feeling it, and I'll tell you why. Fonts like this are not really good for writing lengthy texts. In fact, the way you even play with it here is confusing because when I first saw this design, what came to my mind was, in fact, when I was trying to access the way you arrange the text, this is how I read this. I said, "Welcomes back to you." All right. So if next time you're trying to use this type of font, please don't use it the way use it here. All right. And even if you're going to use it the way you used it here, because graphic design is all about breaking rules. All right. So if you're going to use it the way you use it here, please try not to make anything too close to it, like the way we have this title here, because the size of this title here is really affecting the size of the text. So if you're going to use this text on this type of next to this type of type here, I'm talking of the type, the font you use for campus here, what I'm going to advise you to do is try make it be on one line or two lines. You can make back to bigger and then make welcomes you smaller on top of it. Or another good way of making this look nice is don't use any other font than this font that you have here, this particular one here. Just maintain this font, and I believe it will still help the look of the project. Now, the other thing I noticed again that you did not do well here is whenever you are placing logos, all right, on your design project, okay, try not to place it on any background that carry details. I'm talking of the way you play with it, with the way you play with these logos here. All right. I noticed you put this white box here to separate the logos from the images that we have on the background. All right. But I can still see part of their outfit, which is affecting the visibility of these logos. And this is not for project like this alone. If you're working on design project, like let's say you're designing an event artwork, they always give logos of sponsors. All right, so it's possible you're going to come across this whenever you're working on those type of projects. But whenever you find yourself working on logo that you are going to place or sponsors logos on it or other brands logo, please avoid using this type of transparency on your project. Make this shape here, this tube shape here, make it more visible. Make the opacity more visible than what we have here, so we can see the logos clearly. All right, because whenever you place a logo on a background with details, you are going to deface the look of the logo. And when you deface the look of logos, it's not going to make you look like a professional designer. All right, so watch out for that and your next project. Okay, so this font used here is beautiful for this age. All right, for this type of project. All right, avoid this type of font, the way you play with it here next to bold type, and also avoid placing logo on backgrounds that is going to hide the visibility of the logo. And then the color, the last part is the use of the color. All right, avoid dull colors on your title. All right, put yourself in the shoe of your viewers. All right, so let's go straight to the next design. So this second design here, I know this is more like a party poster, and this is more like a party poster. And what I'm just going to say here is I'm not really feeling that that jivey look on it. And when I say jivey look, I'm referring to that playful effect that shows that excitement feel. I did a tutorial on how to achieve successful party posters. I'm going to advise this designer to go watch the tutorial. I believe it will bless you. Now, the tutorial is not saying you should now focus on the way I play with the artwork in the video. No, the tutorial is just to guide you on knowing the things to check whenever you're working on party posters. Just have a list, all right? Have a list that you can check that as you are achieving each of those tasks that I mentioned in the video, you know you are getting to the making a successful party poster for your clients, all right? So here, I can't see that excitement feel. What I can just see here is someone's lips. In fact, I can see repetition of the same picture here, which I think is not really okay. Repetition of the same image in graphic design is not good. You only do that if the message on the artwork and the artwork calls for it. But if the message on the artwork did not say repeat, or it didn't call for that repeating of the same picture, I see no reason why you need to do that. Graphic design is, like I mentioned previously, is like you talking to people. All right. But when you now use the elements the wrong way, like you use the elements without the information on the design calling for it, you're going to change the message of the design. All right. You're going to change the message of the design. So I don't expect to see, this repetition of a picture here. Then I know the event is about 18-year old, like 18 plus. And I know that's the reason why you decided to use this. There are different ways we can create that picture of making people know that it's not for, people below the age of 18. All right. So you doing this is not really okay. In fact, stop cutting people's picture like this. All right. It's not okay. Stop it. All right. It's not okay. I know so many times we do this as designers. We mostly do this because we don't want the project to look too flat or too empty. Your job is not to make the project look too flat, but to help your readers quickly understand the message. In fact, it will be difficult for people to quickly understand what you put here. All right, it will be difficult for people to understand why we have this here. So, and when you put elements or illustration that is making it difficult for people to understand what you place on the design, the goal of the design is not going to be achieved, because we're in a world where people are not ready to waste their time trying to solve anything. Yeah, there's a part of the viewers or the readers solving the equation of what the design is about, but they only do that when there's something that draws their attention to look at the design. But when there's nothing drawing their attention to look at the design, the solving of the equation is not going to work. And trust me, I'm sure you can also testify to this, and I'm sure every one of you here can testify to it, that when you are checking out your social media account or like your social media page and then you're scrolling, when you see something that is difficult for you to understand why the meaning, you scroll and just forget about it. And that's the same thing that happened to your readers. So whenever you're working on design projects, try to create something that draws their attention to wait and say, why is this like this? And then your typography now explain why that illustration is like that. So when the typography explain why the illustration is like that, or the way it is on the project, then you now see them taking their time to solve the equation of, okay, is it supposed to be like this? Is it like this? And then when they find it, when they are successful with solving the equation, you see them reading every other information on the design project. Then the other thing I mentioned in the video is the use of dull colors. All right, party posters should be bright. All right, it should be bright. It should have playful elements. All right, it should have playful elements, and then the title should be abstract. I'm not going to say too much on this, all right, because I already have a tutorial that I'm going to advise you to go watch if you want to understand how to achieve good party posters. All right, I think it was this morning that I released the tutorial, so I would advise you go check the tutorial out. Okay, so I'm going straight to the next design, which is this. All right, now I'm still going to go back to what I mentioned at the beginning of this review, that your type should not look hidden. All right. Color is another way we make type shout. Aside from us making the size of the um, title bigger, color is another way we increase the volume of the type. All right. Now I'm saying this here because of what this designer did here. I did a tutorial on the use of color, and I mentioned in this tutorial that gray most time is part of how we explain sad mood. All right. I know so many creative think, okay, since if I use touch of gray in my design, and I use other colors on the design, it's still not going to affect anything. It will. All right, it will. And I'm saying this because I can see some touches of gray on this title here, which is making it dull. Now I'm going to show you guys something now. When I take out the gray, all right, and make the title look the way it's supposed to, because I can see here that this title look more like a chrome. All right, and when you see anything chrome, it always give light. But here, our chrome here is looking dull because I can see some touch of, yeah. Now listen, there's always touch of gray, all right, in chrome, okay. But the gray should not be too much than the strength of the gray should not be too much, and then the white color that gives highlight to the chrome should not look dull. Now I'm going to show you guys what I'm trying to say here. So I'm going to go straight under select here and select a mask. Is this select a mask? I'm supposed to know. It's not select a mask. It should be select. So I'll go under select here and select color range. But I always like to have backup here. So I'll go to select and select color range. And I'm going to leave my fuzziness to be on 99 and hit the OK button. All right. So what I asked Photoshop to do for me is to pick the highlighted part on the project. Okay. So I'm going to use the rectangle marquee here to take out the unwanted part on the project. All right, because I don't want to affect any other thing than the title. Okay, then I'll go straight because I'm still seeing some parts not selected. So I'm going to go to select now and hit modify and hit expand. Then I'll leave my expand by 2 and hit the OK button. And now I'm going to go straight to levels. Okay, and I'm going to use levels to boost the brightness. All right, like that. Okay, then let's go straight to the feathers and just fade it a bit to give it that glow look. Now you can see now that our titles look is calling for attention than the way it was before. So if I go to the before now, this is what we have, and this is the after. Then the other thing I noticed that this designer did not do well is the using of the high contrast of red. Now you see there's the hierarchy part of color. All right, there's the hierarchy part of use of color. There are some colors that when you use them on your design project, they draw attention fast, and there are some that when you use them, they don't draw attention like the other one. So if I let me just tell you the two groups of colors that we have. We have the warm and then the cool colors. Warm colors draws attention fast, while the cool colors they don't really draw attention like the warm colors. So when you use warm colors on your design projects and then you use the warm color on your background, dial down the value of that warm color so it won't hide every other information on your design. Is that you dial down the value or you reduce the saturation, like don't oversaturate it, reduce the saturation so it won't hide the other information you have on your design project. Because when your background color carry high contrast color or the saturation is too oversaturated, is going to hide the information you have on the design project. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm trying to say here. Now this red here is beautiful, but it's too heavy. So if next time you're asked to work on design project and you're trying to use red color, I know the reason why I use the red color is because the message is about Valentine, and everybody know that whenever you hear the word Valentine, it means you're supposed to use red to depict that. So I'm going to use hue saturation here, and I'll go under red here, and I'm going to dial down the saturation like that. All right, now you can still see the red, but I've reduced the strength of the red, because if we don't do that, it will make the artwork look like it's shouting, because there's also part of you making your design shout with color. For those of you that don't know, if I do this, if I increase this way, now you see that the color is heavy and it's shouting. So it's not different from what this designer did. So I'm going to just reduce this like that to just reduce the strength of the red. And then the other thing I want to show quickly add to this again is whenever you're using other elements to make your design look fun, I noticed so many of us are always shy with making that, making those other elements play around on our design project. And most time when we make elements play around on our design project, it always give fun to the project. It always give life to the project. All right, but when we are shy with using it, it's not going to create that fun. In fact, even those elements that you are planning to make you're planning to use to make the design have that excitement look, those elements are also going to be hiding. All right, and when anything is hiding or something is shy or element is shy, your design project, it's going to make it look boring. That is what I'm trying to say. Now look at this element here, this heart shape here. I'm going to quickly use the lasso tool to just crop this out. Just kindly pardon my cropping here. All right, I just want to quickly explain something to you guys. So I'm going to make a copy of this. All right, I've taught you guys this before, so I'm going to make a copy of this like that, and I'm going to activate free transform, make this bigger, position this here, go to filter, blur gallery, and hit field blur. All right, so I'll leave my blur to be I'll make my blur, let's do something a bit higher. All right, like that. Yeah, beautiful. So I'll make my blur 23, and I'm gonna hit the OK button like that. So the idea here is to make it look like the heart balloon is close to the camera, or is trying to come out from the artwork. All right, from the artwork, not artwork. So I'm going to make a copy of this again and just move this somewhere here. All right, and I'm going to just rotate this way. You can even make it a bit smaller like that. All right, and make the same move again. Okay, like that. When you do this, all right, you're going to give that project the fun look. Now, when you're doing this, please avoid making it too much on the project. Okay, because when it's too much, most time it's going to look somehow. All right, so repetition in graphic design is good and is not good. All right, you use repetition when you are trying to create pattern. You don't use repetition when you are working on design project that you are asked to use an illustration to explain your message. You only do that when the information on the design call for it. But when it comes to playing with elements to create fun on your design project or to create a pattern, repetition is always good. All right, so yeah, so that's for that on this. All right, but I like your layout. I like the fact that we have this information here in this box. And I also like the fact that every of your information, uh, they all face the same direction, which I believe helped this project. All right. I like this. And look at this. All right. So beautiful. Okay. But just the part of the color that I think you need to work on. All right. If you are the designer and you're looking at me right now. Okay. Yeah. I think that's for that on this. Okay. Let's see if I think so. Now, there's another thing I just noticed again here on this artwork, which is making people's focus be on the title. There are different ways to do that. All right. You can create a vignette, and this is another way I do it, where if I notice that my background is dark. All right. So I'm going to use Control I on my keyboard and select the brush tool here. And I'm going to make my brush bigger. Okay. And just click once like that. All right. And so if I have that like that, I'm now going to reduce the brightness of this. All right. All right. So I think that's for that on this. All right. So let's go straight to our next design. Now, I have a tutorial on how to design food poster. If you are this designer and you have watched the tutorial and you still come up with this concept, I am sure, in fact, you did not get the message. You have not gotten the message. All right. So I'm still going to advise you to go back and watch the tutorial again. So here, all right. Whenever you receive brief from your clients and you receive the illustration to use on the design project, take your time to digest the illustration or the picture that you receive from the client. Our job as creative is to create projects that people see and they can quickly get the message fast. But we can't achieve this when we don't place the element on the design the right way. Now, let me quickly say this because I know some of you may think, well, that means graphic design is difficult. No, graphic design is not difficult. It's not difficult. It's just you not taking your time to understand the language. All right. In my country here, we have different languages like people speak. And if I go to someone, we have Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, and so on. But the three most common languages, Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa. Now, if I go to an Hausa man who doesn't understand Yoruba and start speaking Yoruba to the person, the expression I'm going to get to the person is like, what are you saying? Or maybe I travel to a country like Germany where they have their language, and I'm talking to somebody who doesn't understand English there. The expression I'm going to get from the person is, and then the next thing the person will say is, I don't understand. And that's the same thing that happens when we work on design project and we don't take our time to understand and digest the projects so we can speak the language that we're supposed to speak to the right audience. All right. Now I'm saying this here because of what I have here. Now, your job here is whenever you're asked to work on food poster or social media artwork for a food brand, what they need from you is create something that makes people's mouth watery, something that makes people want to buy the food. So, but when we now hide the message, it's going to be difficult for the artwork to, capture the attention of the right audience. Now, I mentioned this. I mentioned this here on this review on this platform before that. Whenever you receive the brief, all right, see how you can arrange the elements on the project so they look simple enough, and then they draw the attention and make the project look successful. Food with so many contents here, all right, food like with so many content here don't always look nice when you put them in a frame. In fact, you're going to hide the beauty of the food. It's like you trying to do an artwork for a burger company and then you now put the burger in a frame. It won't make the mouth water. In fact, people won't really feel the wanting to buy the burger. And that's the same thing. That's the same principle that this type of food share. And that's why you see most of all these big food brands. You see them whenever they want to market any of their food, they don't put it in a frame. In fact, if you put the food in a frame, you hear them say, "No, we don't like it," because they know that the goal is for people to see the food and patronize them. But when you now put the food in a frame, it won't draw attention. I've had the opportunity to work for so many food brands here. And one of the things I know that I do that normally make them want to call me again to work for them is I make sure what they sell, I make it bold, because that is the purpose. That is the goal of the project. But if I now hide it, the goal of that project is not going to be achieved. So whenever you're working on food poster like the way you did here, avoid putting them in a frame. And to shock you, all these elements here are not really important like this two here. So this here that you put on a white space here, they are even taking more attention than this that you have here. And this is not the goal. These are just to spice up the project. Whenever you're working on design project, any element you put on a white space are the things that people see first. If you place any element on a white background, like nothing is close to that element, people are going to see that information first. So the way you place this, all these, playful spice, food stuff here, they're even taking more attention than the food itself. They're taking more attention than the goal itself. And that's why I said graphic design is more like you speaking a language. If you don't speak the right language, the message, the goal of that project is not going to be achieved. So next time, whenever you're asked to work on food poster or food project, and you notice the food carries so many information like this, please make people see the food. Don't hide the food. All right, please. And I'm going to advise you to go back or to go watch my tutorial on how to achieve good food poster. All right, please. I'm going to advise you to go check it so you can understand what I shared with you in the tutorial. All right, please. Okay. And then this here should be on 2 lines. All right. Let this be on 2 lines. Let this be here. All right. Move this here. I think that's it for this, and take this out. All right. Take this out. Not necessary. You can use this because I know so many designers always see this on design projects. Yeah. I know so many of us see this on design project, and that's why we always add it to our design project. There are times where you use this on your design project. You use it to create pattern. All right. We use it to create pattern to spice up our design project. But when you now use it just like this, you are going to change the message. And then this also is not necessary. I know so many times we do this. We always want to just make it look like, well, I don't want people to think my project is just flat. There's nothing there. See, the goal is not for you to add, but to subtract. All right. The goal is not for you to add what is not necessary. The goal is for you to see what can I take away from this project that can make it look simple. So, yeah, I think that's for that on this. And I like the color you use on this project. I like the repetition of the color, which is this gradient here. All right. I like it. Beautiful. And I also like the fact that the design is bright. All right, it's bright. Just that part of you hiding the food that I think you did not do well. I like the color combination. I like this green color that you have here. Beautiful. It's beautiful. It's just that part of you hiding the food, and then the use of the elements that are not necessary on the project, and then also avoid all this type of bullet points. They are old school. All right, they are old school. Please don't be using this type of bullet points on your design project. There are different ways you can create points, like say this is a point and this is another point, like separating the points. One of it is you can use a slash and then place this next to this, or even the way you did it here without if you don't have any bullet points here, it will still look like this is different from this. So why are you putting the bullet points here? You know, I told you the goal is for you to subtract and not to add. So see what you can take away from the artwork and to help the simplicity of the artwork. Then lastly is please next time try make this more playful. All right, it's a food poster. Create that joy. In fact, let me quickly say this. Anytime you play with your type, all right, you make your type abstract, like you make it look different from the normal way people are used to it. It gives that fun. It makes people. It gives the artwork the joy. It gives it joy. Sorry, it gives the artwork joy. It makes it look. It gives it the happy feel. All right. So please, try do that on your title here, and I think I'm going to stop here on this. Thank you everyone. I hope you learned something from today's review. If you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly do so now. And for those of you who are my new subscribers, I appreciate you for making the move. Please let other creatives know what I do for you, so they too can you also learn from what I share with you. Okay. And if you learn anything from this video, kindly drop a comment and hit the thumbs up button if you like it. All right. Thank you everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.